This is, and it's on our Facebook if anybody wants to look at it in more detail. It's a report done by a Saudi scholar called Ayman al-Kurdi, and his report is a 42-year summary of findings. For the moon to be visible, it has to be born, old enough to be visible, and moon set has to be after sunset. That is the Saudi criteria. At the moment, only thing is it doesn't apply number 2. It just looks at it has to be born, the moon set has to be after sunset. That is the current Saudi criteria. Whereas we have number 2, it has to be old enough to be visible. Now, Shaikh Ayman al-Kurdi, he's a research scholar at the University of Riyadh. He looked at the declarations of Ramadan between 1961 and 2004. 63% of them, the moon was not in the sky. In 24%, moon was present but could not be seen even with powerful equipment. So 87%, according to his research, was decisions made through error. There's a website of his research. You can look at that. This is just a reference to research done by a Saudi scholar. Initially, Saudi was very lenient in making decisions, and it used to have a 2-day difference, and a lot of times its decisions were made before the birth of the moon. It has become more strict in recent years, and it will not take a testimony if the moon has set before sunset. That is in its criteria. But still that is not, because like I mentioned, the moon has to be at least 16, 17 hours old before it can be visible, and even if it's only 2 hours old, the Saudi government would declare that to be the first. Now, another question will arise, that does it take testimonies or does work? We will not say they do not look for the moon. That would be a lie. Saudi does take testimonies. Saudi Arabia has 9 official observatories throughout the kingdom, and senior scholars and astronomical experts look for the moon from those observatories. We have direct links with people within the observatory system, and most of the times they have a negative sighting when Saudi is declaring the first. So the observatories with the latest technology are not sighting the moon. What does happen, however, that witnesses do come forward and they say that we saw the moon, and based on that testimony, usually it's the same few people from the area of Shakra and Sudair, and they give that testimony. We've seen video footage of them giving a testimony, so they are giving testimonies. This is where we have a dispute with them, and we cannot, as people following the Hanafi fiqh, accept this decision. Reason being is that if the sky is clear, it is a regulation that we must have a mass sighting for there to be an established sighting. And what happens is 1 or 2 people from a certain area are coming forward and giving testimony. According to their fiqh, their school of thought, 1 testimony will suffice. But according to the Hanafi fiqh, 1 testimony will not suffice on such occasions. And even then, that testimony is being called into doubt because these observatories are not sighting the moon. If, however, there was a mass sighting at that time, it will be overruled through astronomical information, and it will become a valid sighting. But if you look at it, look at the practice here. Every year since we started the Batley moon sighting criteria, we have been sighting the moon locally once or twice a year on the first. In the 12 months, once or twice in a year, we sight the moon on the first night. In the other months, it's not really possible. Now, in these first nights when we sight the moon, whenever we've sighted it, there has been a mass sighting. Every person who goes out and strives usually more or less sights the moon. And we could say it is usually based on mass sighting when we sight the moon. Those people who have been to India, Pakistan, or other countries where the moon is visible on the first night, they will see that if the moon has been sighted, every person more or less will sight the moon. What's happening in Saudi, and it's mentioned by senior scholars also, that when the declaration is being made, you hardly know a person who sighted the moon or know a group of people who've sighted the moon, because the point I'm making is that if it is being sighted, then why isn't everybody sighting the moon? So that is one of the reasons why the doubt has been created.